So what we're going to do is we're here to expose it, let people tell their story, and let everybody in the public see the horrors of the court system in Suffolk County, New York.
Long Island Backstory with Chief Correspondent Gary Jacobs.
Hi, I'm Gary Jacobs. Welcome to another edition of Long Island Backstory, where we're filming at the Alt Studios in Hauppauge, New York. Got a great show for you today. My next guest is Eric Steinberg, and he's going to talk about something that I found very interesting. He spoke at a group that I went to about an organization that he's a national board member on, which is Volunteers for Israel. And I found the program fascinating, and I have a lot of things on my bucket list, and I've been checking them off, and now this is one that I added to the bucket list. And at 50 years old, you don't add many things to your bucket list. So just a little bit about my next guest, Eric Steinberg. Again, he was a National Executive Board member of the Volunteers for Israel. He was raised in Brooklyn. I guess a lot of people from Long Island raised in Brooklyn. Then he moved out to Suffolk County, where him and his wife of almost 50 years have lived and raised their family. Eric was a teacher in New York City for over 30 years, and in 2000 was awarded Industrial Arts Teacher of the Year. In 2001, he was awarded the New York City Regional Industrial Arts Teacher of the Year, and he is now, I'll put in quotes, retired, because he's doing all this work for the Volunteers for Israel. For his 55th birthday, his wife gave him a trip, which was a gift to Israel, to volunteer for this program that we're going to talk about today. And I guess this is where the second part of this story begins. Eric, welcome.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very, very much.
Thanks for coming. So first of all, let's just tell the audience, what is Volunteers for Israel?
Volunteers for Israel was organized and started in 1982. Israel was involved in a war at that time, and it was just at the harvest time in Israel. And so many of the reservists that needed to fight the war had to leave the fields, and it was decided someone had to come to America to see if we could get volunteers to come and help pick the harvest. And we had over 600 volunteers instantly come to the program, and ever since then, they never stopped it, and they asked for our help. We've given throughout the world, all of the volunteers that have gone, we've saved the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, over 400,000 hours of free time to let the reservists and the soldiers train to do a better job in defending the state of Israel.
Great. So now we're going to show this clip, which is a few minutes long, but I want to show that because it shows a visual of what you actually do when you go over there, and then we're going to come back and we'll talk about that. So let's roll that clip.
Great.
Okay, so in that clip, we saw what people are actually doing. I mean, this, you make it seem like they're in the field, but they're. I guess that was back then. Now you're actually working hand in hand with the Israeli army. You're wearing uniforms.
Let me just correct that. We work alongside of the IDF, and we wear work uniforms, not army uniforms per se. We're not allowed to wear them. We're citizens of the of America, and we cannot wear a military uniform. There are two types of soldiers in Israel. There's the fighter and there's the logistical worker or soldier. We work with the logistical type of soldier. We put medicine bags together. When I was on one base, we would fill up and throw out outdated medical supplies, and at 4 o'clock the truck would come, pick up all of the things that we put into the medical bags that were good, and they shipped them off to Gaza. So we really felt needed, and the job was great. Other times we do so many other type of work, and we work alongside.
What are some of the things that the volunteers would do?
We could do cleaning of the base. We could do painting. We could put together communication packages. We could clean radios, put them back together again. I've worked on tanks. I've worked on the northern border of Lebanon on a forward observation unit, and we were filling sandbags for the trenches there. And some of it is easy work and some of it is not, but it is so fulfilling. And the important thing about the program is not necessarily only the work that we do on the base. So we don't know when we go, we pay our own airfare. The Israeli army pays for our room and board for 5 days a week, and we live on the base those 5 days a week, and then for Shabbat, we have to leave the base. No one stays on the base. But once we get to the Ben Gurion Airport, we learn what base we're going to be. We could be north, east, south, or west. We don't know for security reasons. And once we get to the base, we do many, many different activities with the soldiers. Sometimes we work on a base where there are fighters, and we clean the rifles. And we take them apart and scrub them out, and we oil them, and then we put them back together again. It's so rewarding, but that's not the important thing for me, at least. I like it and I feel good, but I do it to show the soldier that there are people in this world that love and care about you, and we boost their morale. I tell people when we go, don't sit in the mess hall with the group that we're with. Sit with the soldiers. Go meet them. Talk to them. They're looking at us and they don't know why we're there. Once we tell them why we're there, they think that we're Meshuggah for going over from America, but they understand. And once they understand, they become our friends. They love it. We tell them that there are people that care about Israel and the soldiers that fight to protect Israel. And that's the rewarding part. And next visit, when I go to another base, I hope to be able to go to many bases and tell this to the volunteers that are there. Do not sit with the group. Mingle with the soldiers. I get emails from them. I get birthday wishes from them. It's just a great, great feeling.
So when I first heard you speak about it, and they said, they're going to talk about volunteers for Israel, and so first I thought, well, who's going to go there and take a chance to get shot? All these old Jews are going to go there. They're going to get blown away.
Excuse me. I'm not old.
And then my second thing was, well, is this something just for rich people to say, well, I went there to help the Israeli army, but I'm really not helping them. I'm really, I'm just going there because I have money and something to do. But you really are valuable to the army, as you explained to me, that just, freeing up that time so they're not doing these, these other duties. They could be out there, actually fighting and
Yes.
defending the country.
Yes.
So before you go on the trip, is there any preparation? Is there classes, or do you just say, hey, somebody Googles volunteer for Israel, you fill out the form, boom, and then 3 weeks later you're on a plane to Israel?
No.
Okay.
There is a process. We first get the phone call. We talk to them a few moments on the phone, and we tell them a little bit about the program, maybe 3 minutes about the program. Then we set up an interview. The interview can be any place that's convenient for both parties. And then we see the person in front of us. We want to make sure that this person is not wearing a crutch or walking with a cane. They have to do jobs once they get there. They can't just say, well, I don't feel well and this, that, and the other thing. They have to be able to. Otherwise, the rest of the group has to pick up for them. So that's not what we want. Once we do that, we tell them a little bit, and then I tell all of the ambassadors that we call that speak to the people, go tell them about a day in the life of a volunteer. Once they're there, once they get to Ben Gurion, then they get on a bus, and then they go to their base. It could be 5 hours sitting in Ben Gurion in whole groups, and then you divide it up, and you're meeting people. Sometimes when you go many times, you see the same people, and we're friends now. Then you get to the base, and you get to your barrack, and some people think that there is a therapeutic mattress on the beds, this thick. And I tell them, when I speak to them, I say, well, it's not that thick. And I start talking, and I start talking, and I say, it's probably half the thickness of this, but I can't go closer because then I'm going to touch my fingers.
You're not in the Ritz-Carlton?
No, or the King David Hotel.
Okay.
But you do, and you make do with what you have. And I tell them what to bring, and I try to prepare them as best as I can to be prepared. All the meals are kosher. There are 3 meals a day. You get served breakfast, which is usually an Israeli salad, cottage cheese, maybe chocolate pudding, sometimes coffee, but they might not have milk, so you use chocolate milk if they have that. And whatever left from breakfast is served at night. So you know what you're going to get at night. The big meal is lunch, and dependent on the base, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not as great, but they have PXs on the bases, so you can go get some snacks if you want to.
So the cost is, what's the cost? Is it just the airfare?
The airfare, and then the for Shabbat, you have to find a hotel, a hostel, VFI, and Sar-El, which is the umbrella organization in Israel that places us. They have discounts at certain hotels. You could live on the beach, you could go to family. I have family, I'm lucky, so I go to them.
Right. So I guess the people watching it, the question people are going to ask is, we're Americans, I was born here, we love our country, I love Israel too, but I guess the question is, why would somebody volunteer for Israel, and why not volunteer for our country, America, first?
Okay, good question.
Thank you.
That's
why I'm the host.
We have people from college age to 90 that go on the program. The 90-year-old is not going to serve in the military any longer. They might have served when they were younger. You're assuming that they don't. But we do have a lot of people that served in the American Army. They're past the age of serving in the Army, so they say, this is something good. And there are people that have not served in the military for medical reasons here, whatever. They were married during the draft, let's say, so they go now. It's so much different than if you were going as a tourist. Anyone could go as a tourist. Anyone could give donations to Israel. We could send our kids on pilgrimage. We could send them with different type of programs. Here we go. This is my time, and if I cut myself, I'm cutting myself in Israel. If I bleed on a rock, I'm bleeding in Israel. I've left something there, and they give me something. I get more out of it than I give.
So if somebody hasn't been to Israel before and they want this, they're not going to really get to see much of Israel, are they? Would they have to, like, how long? Well, first, I guess, how long is the trip for?
Program. We have 1, 2, and 3 week programs. We start out at 17 years old. They could go with their parents on a program. We have college age kids up to, as I said, 90 that go on their own. They look at our website, and they're able to look up the schedule, and then they could pick and choose which programs they would like. We also have for college age where we're setting up programs that are during intersession. So if they're working during the summer, they could probably go in January.
Right. So could somebody go? So you can go there and do a week for the Volunteers for Israel, and then do a tour for another week, and make it a 2-week trip.
Yes, you and I know that the Chabad is planning a program to go to Israel. Okay, that's great. So we're trying to hook up and say to those people that are going on the trip, why don't you stay an extra week or 2,
right,
and be part of the
you're
program?
already there. You already paid your
exactly.
You already paid your. So let me ask, why do people go? And when you talk to people, what's the reason that you're finding that they go?
They go because of the love of Israel. They go to show support. Look, an Israeli soldier or anyone in Israel can pick up the paper and look, and every day there's negative stories about Israel. Every day. Every paper runs them. We're there. We go, and people go, and this is what I hear, because they want to show them that that's not all of the people of the world. And we're non-sectarian. We have people from all over the world.
So this is not just for religious Jews, or not even, is it not even for Jews? If somebody says, hey, I love it. I mean, a lot of people who aren't Jewish, a lot of people, support the state of Israel. Can they go too?
Yes. We try to really control groups that want to go, that believe in proselytizing to the people in Israel. We don't want that to happen. If you do, that's an automatic dismissal from the program. They bring you to the gate, they escort you out, and you're on your own. And it's even Jews that do that. There was a singer a number of years ago, Metishahu. He was a reggae singer, and he was part of Chabad, and the kids didn't hear about him, and they didn't know about his music. So what I did was I bought a CD, and on the bus coming back from Shabbat, I put it on. Now he's singing about Hashem. Very innocently, I did that, and I didn't realize that it was that, and the group leader had to take it out of the CD player. I didn't get in any trouble at that point, but she said, you can't play that. So I gave it to one of them, and that was it.
So how many people are in each group?
We can have 20 people go at a time from all over the country. We can have 10 people go at a time. We're not an organized group until we get to Ben Gurion Airport. That's when we become organized, and we're set up into different groups. It used to be that we would try to put people that are going to meet at the same airport, Kennedy Airport, or in Miami or California, and try to make them go the same flight. That was too difficult, so we stopped that. And whoever goes on the date that you're supposed to go and meet at Ben Gurion Airport, they'll go there on their own. The other thing that we do is we say to people, go a week earlier if you would like to tour, and then the day of your program beginning, go to Ben Gurion.
So is a program only for Americans? Because you mentioned an umbrella group.
No, it's a worldwide program. We are the only organization in the world that hooks up with Sar-El, but we call ourselves Volunteers for Israel. The rest of the world says they call themselves Sar-El. We didn't want to do that according to our bylaws. we wanted to offer people that from America different type of programs, not just to work with Sar-El, but if they wanted to work in a nursing home or if they wanted to work in a hospital. We had that at one time, but that was more expensive because they didn't get free room and board.
Right. So this, I think you mentioned children in the ages, but women, no problem too? Women can volunteer also?
Yep.
So can a family go and say, hey, the husband and wife, 2 kids, they can all go together? Would they be housed together or would they be separated?
17-year-old, you can't go with younger than 17. Okay? Oh, I'm sorry, you could go at 15, but not 17 with a family. But they're not housed. Men and women are separated.
Okay, but you'll be with your family, so
on the same base, yeah.
Oh, they'll be in the same base, but
not in the same unit.
Not in the same unit.
No.
Great.
If there are females, they could be together, and males could be together, but not together.
Great. Well, it sounds like a great trip, and I'm sure memories that last a lifetime. If somebody wants to learn more about this, where would they go to get the information?
volunteersforisrael.org, and they'll see our website.
And if they live here, because we're on Long Island, then you'll be the person who gets in touch with them. And
yes, there's someone else. There's a regional director that will get in touch with them and give them all this information. Great.
Very, very interesting, and it sounds like a great program. Anything you want to throw in the last minute?
Yeah, just for laughs. Sometimes there are no bathrooms in the barracks. So at night, 2 o'clock in the morning, you have to go to the bathroom. You have to bring a flashlight and find the bathroom sometimes. But it's all fun. You have to be like a duck with the water rolling right off your back. Just laugh at everything. We think that we could do things better than the Israeli army. Do it while you're there, listen to them, and that's it. And you'll have fun. You'll enjoy it, you'll meet the people, you'll create friendships and bonds, hopefully for a lifetime.
Great, Eric, thank you very much for coming on the show. A lot of information, but there was a lot more to get out, and they can go to the website and get all that.
Yes, sir.
And meet with a volunteer. I'm Gary Jacobs, and thank you for joining us on Long Island Backstory, and we'll see you next week.
Long Island Backstory is made possible in part by Americans for Legal Reform, the oldest, most successful legal group in the world. P.O. Box 2679, Huntington Station, New York 11746. Telephone 631-421-6390. Website Americans4legalreform.com. Long Island Backstory.